Hey guys, Bill Coles here from BillColesFishing.com and Rip and Lip Outdoors. Out here in central North Carolina on Badin Lake. Today is August 14th. We're in a summer pattern fishing. Water temperature is hovering right over 90 degrees. And we're out here today working on shad presentations. Most people don't know this, but shad actually spawn multiple times a year, and you kind of have to learn how to follow that bait and follow the shad spawn to really have good summer fishing results. Now we're in probably the second, coming onto the third shad spawn here in North Carolina, so throughout the lake you're having multiple different sizes of shad pods running around, and it gives a lot of different types of food for bass to eat. What in turn the angler has to do is you really have to fine-tune your presentation with what is in the lake and what the bass are keying in on. It can actually change from bay to bay, point to point will have different size bait on it, so you really have to keep your eyes open on what size the bait is, what color. I like to start shallow so that I know if the shad are in this full swing of a spawn or just cruising around in the shallows. I can kind of get a better look at what the bait might look like. From there I'll work my way deeper to deep points and river ledges based on what I see in the bays. So like I said earlier, shad are actually going to be in multiple different stages throughout most of the summer. So you really have to key in on what is happening around you. As I'm sitting in this little bay here, there's actually shad flickering the surface about 25 feet away, about that big. I've seen shad today 4 inches long, and I've even seen some threadfin floating around on the surface as long as 6 inches. So you really, like I said, you have to fine tune to what is happening on the lake and what the bass are actually keying in on. Some of the baits that I want to talk to you guys about today that I really use a lot in the summer are flukes. It's a pretty common bait. They're reasonably cheap. They get used a lot, but that's because they work. What you're actually going to need here is you're going to need usually a 1 to 2/0 wide gap hook. I prefer Gamakatsu. It's total preference, but Gamakatsu's razor sharp, so they always get a good hook set on those fish. And like I said, the shad are going to be different sizes, so you really have to key in on what the bass are actually eating. A big thing that we noticed today was we started out with a Zoom Fluke in this smoke silver color. It's got a little blue flake to it, light bodied action, and we weren't getting a lot of hits. We noticed some of the shad in the area actually had a much darker back, and if you guys can see that, this is a Berkeley power bait minnow, and it's got a much darker back to it. When you put both of these in the water, this one's got a black back to it. Started getting hits right away because we noticed that bait just had that little bit tint of the black back. Again, you have to pay attention and key in on specifically what they're eating and what the shad are looking like. Another key thing that I like to do is most people are going to throw white and silvers. That's fine. Try to experiment. Get out of the box thinking a little bit. Even though shad are silver, that doesn't mean that a bass isn't going to react the same way to, say, a brown fluke or even a pumpkin fluke here that's supposed to imitate a bluegill. The main thing you want to think about is kind of the action that they're actually eating. They're attacking these fish, so you want to replicate pods of shad swimming around. The last tip I want to give you guys today is how bass attack shad. The main thing that bass do, they school up in the summer, they push shad from the deep water into the shallow water, whether it be a bay or on a point, leaving the only place to go for the bait up. You have to be ready to fire with a fluke, top water, buzz bait, jerk bait, something that's going to resemble a shad as soon as you see schoolers come up, because they will disappear within seconds. That's one of the best ways to get a few nice fish into the boat, is to always have a rod handy to pick up and fire at those schooling bass. Believe me, you'll know what they look like when they come to the surface. Alright guys, that's all I got for you out here from Badin Lake. Again, I'm Bill Coles. Please check out BillColesFishing.com and Rip and Lip Outdoors for more information and great fishing tips. I'll see you on the water.